Cool. Hi, everyone. Welcome to TechTrends. I'm Cam, here with my co-host Gene, and today's episode, we are taking a deep dive into strategy overview, solution making waves in the MSP space.
Cam, it's good to be back. Alex, thanks for joining us today.
Good to see you, Gene, as always.
Yeah.
Nice to
By the
meet you,
way,
Cam.
congrats on winning the Pitch It contest. And this is obviously congrats to your daughter, not really to you.
Thank you, Gene. I'm following in good footsteps. You gave me a lot of wisdom through the process, so I really appreciate it. And based on you guys and all your pitch experience as well.
Yeah. Sure, it's good to be in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
So, kind of jumping in, right? Like, what? Tell us a little bit about you, Alex. What's your background, right? What are you kind of used to? How'd you come to be a part of strategy overview and kind of pitch it as well?
Yeah, so I started an MSP in 2002. I was just a techie. I did computer support, I did projects, and then we started hearing all this buzz about managed services and convert clients into managed agreements. It's a win-win situation because when you're billing hourly, like if you do really good work, then people don't necessarily have to call you back. And then it's maybe fine for a single owner that gets their name passed around. But then if you start to hire people, you need payroll, you need benefits. So it's a win for the clients to have a firm, like a solid team that's funded, consistent, and then with you, right? So when the managed services thing came about, it just was a natural progression. Like we need to move to that, right? And to move to managed services and offer unlimited support contracts, and if you're not managing the stack, you're not managing risk, you're not kind of managing the digital transformation journey, it creates a lot of chaos. So you're signing up for a pretty heavy amount of liability and work and time and all that stuff. So we built we built a process where we would start standardizing clients really early on during onboarding, and then from there, a bunch of our clients needed a lot of compliance work, and they were really hungry to evolve. So we started doing these assessments on clients all the time, doing QBRs, and then we couldn't find any app that did this easily and at scale. So in 2016, we built the first little pilot version of the app for our MSP. And then 2017, we rolled it out. We had a bunch of our MSP friends start using it. We were part of ConnectWise Evolve. And then today, we have some of the best MSPs in the world on the platform, and we want to pitch it. So it's been a long journey of building something the community truly needs, and it really saves people time and saves people headache.
Alex, it's interesting, right? Because Traceless was born out of, an MSP that I'm an
Hmm.
owner of that I needed a solution and a tool, couldn't find one, and
And our MSP has used Traceless for many years.
yeah, yeah. Thanks, man. I just I wonder, as the years kind of went on, how did you find your way to divide time and conquer to improve your software company and kind of run your daily operations of MSPs? Because I think this is also a question that a lot of MSP owners get ideas of like, oh, I wish this tool existed, or it doesn't quite do what I need. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, but it's a tough balance, right? Can you talk
Yeah.
a little bit about that?
So we were part of Evolve peer groups. We were part of HCG before that for many years. And one of the big things for them is to, like, if you listen to Brad and Scott from HCG, they talk a lot about like building up a team and team leaders and things like that. And then we moved to EOS about 10 years ago as well. So we've been running on EOS for many years. So I think a big piece is it's a whole team level approach, right? The MSP is run by fantastic team members and team leaders that we put in place a good culture and a good kind of operational strategic vision. And then the MSP is run by three partners. And then, the MSP needs the services of strategy overview. They need strategic guidance. They need um, we've launched a VCO mastery program. So now we're essentially teaching other MSPs on how to deliver high caliber VCIO solutions and digital transformation planning to at scale. Right. So um, as the same lessons that we learned running the MSP, we brought into the SaaS business. So running that on EOS, building a solid list of team leaders, people that are responsible, that you set a top level vision on what we want to build, and then they build it to the vision of the group. The vision is decided as a group, and then once that's established, then people have their own kind of goal settings and they move forward. And we use actually strategy overview now to do all of our EOS meetings, all team leader strategic planning. It's very powerful for that because it's an extremely flexible framework.
You think you'd actually get into that space? I know that there's some apps, I think like 90 is one of them, that's
Hmm.
specifically designed around EOS. Would you guys like think about a sell-through model or launching a product for
Yeah,
MSPs
I
to help
mean
their
that's
customers?
definitely sell-throughs for sure in play. We just launched our template marketplace, so people can start publishing templates. It's still being restricted to like a couple of accounts, but basically the plan is to help for other people to be able to publish into it. The one problem with having all these other apps is the fact that it's always a per user charge, right? And they're not like a couple of dollars. So that adds up if you need, 40 licenses of 10 different apps, right? All at $10 to $20 a month. That's one problem. The second problem is then authentication and then creating multi-tenants, right? Like we tried doing some of the stuff with Strategy Overview with other apps that are publicly out there, but it doesn't work multi-tenant. So now we have plans for every client segmented out, and we have unlimited users in Strategy Overview. So, because some engineers don't need to log in all the time, or some clients don't log in all the time, but all client digital transformation plans are laid out cleanly, and then all team level plans are laid out cleanly. So, yeah, at some point, potentially, it's not something that we're focusing on this year, but in the future, any strategic planning could be done. We're essentially piloting that in our. I mean, we use other apps as well for now, but as soon as we reach some feature parity with some of our planning stuff, that will theoretically all move into strategy overview.
Um, you guys were, like I mentioned, part of and won Pitch It this last year in 2025.
Mhm.
What made you decide? Because that's like 9 years into starting the business. What made you to really go for that contest and kind of just? It seems like there's been a big focus and emphasis on really pushing the product into different places. And congrats on that, right? It's a lot of work. But
Yeah.
what was a catalyst to do that last year?
So when we built the app, it was a very simplistic assessment product. Essentially, it just standardized our list of questions that we want to ask every client and standardize the full stack component. Basically, it was like sleek for MSP VCIO, right? Like like Paul Dipple's concept of high operational mature MSP should standardize as rapidly as possible after onboarding, right? So that was the original app, and it was just a simplistic assessment that allowed us to generate the same list of questions for all clients based on a template. And then as you add other items you want to standardize on, it adds them to all the client assessments. When we launched that, I happened to be a speaker at IT Nation that year because on VCIO strategic planning, it's like one of the things that our MSP did really good. And when I went to the breakout, we announced that we have this app, and if other people want to use it, they can jump on the platform. And we had within a week like 100 MSPs jump on the platform. So that was a gift and a curse because it was great that it kind of showed that what we're building in our vision for digital transformation is like clicked with people, right? But the curse was that then people were doing live QBRs on a product that was our first time. It wasn't 100% first time building software because we've played around and built a couple of internal apps. And our CTO is my brother who comes from big financial services software development, like mega insurance companies. So he has enterprise experience, but it still was never built for mass scale day one, right? It was a product we adapted and then our friends started using it. So it took us about a year or two to kind of stabilize the initial version, add some core functionality. Like we didn't even have multi-user when we launched. For the first year, MSPs had one account and they would log on and they would share it, right? It was like very basic, but it did something that no other app did from an assessment standardization perspective. It's like the single cleanest, best, fastest VCIO QBR assessment on the market. So then we realized that we needed to standardize and we needed to scale the app and scale the infrastructure and kind of rebuild it from scratch. So it took about a year or two to plan, rebuild, and then we started launching integrations. So the current app is kind of, even though it's the same name of the app and looks the same, the code base and everything is new. And then we really transitioned, like we built a full team around it. So the first couple of years, it wasn't a full team, right? It was a project that we built. I mean, there was dedicated team members, but not like we have today. Now it's built in a full proper infrastructure, with like multiple betas, multiple alphas. Now two data centers, Europe and America, um, full dedicated team. So that's been so now essentially we're kind of like a startup that is working off an idea that is we've been brewing on for over 20 years.
So, I mean, Alex, that's pretty interesting, right? So, in terms of the successes that you have, congrats again. That's amazing. But in terms of like how you see yourself compete in the market against other VCIO, other QBR tools, right? What's the secret sauce? What makes you guys special?
I mean, there's a lot of things. So we our RM app is one of the only apps that is run by people that actually did QBRs at scale and in a tier one market. So we're from the New York City market, right? So that's a big component. Our template engine is extremely flexible, so you really can create whatever report you want. I think that's another major component. Our assessment is the cleanest and fastest assessment on the market because the way that we build it, where you don't have to type everything, you can just pick and choose options. That so you kind of code your stack into the app and your health standards, and then you can, because every client is very similar in terms of if you're upgrading a server, there's like five options, right? You're either going to upgrade the RAM and the hard drive or like resources. You're going to upgrade a warranty. You're going to move them to SaaS apps. You're going to move them to Azure, right? There's really not that many options. So you code that into the app, and then you can do assessments really fast, three times faster than anything out there. And we've done tests. And the other thing that is another big difference between us is it's a full client portal. So instead of just sending a PDF or an Excel doc to a client, clients can log in into a 100% brandable experience and access all the data on demand. So that saves a lot of time from like MSPs getting peppered with silly license questions and asset calc questions. And why do we have 7 Microsoft project licenses? Oh, you can log in and see who has the licenses on the fly. Like that's wonderful. That frees VSales up substantially. I think the crown jewel is like the and what our vision is around AI. One of the reasons we want to pitch it is so we built Aria as our AI agent, and essentially she can fill out your whole QBR based on your standards. So she checks what you have in ConnectWise and IT Glue, and will fill out the entire QBR. So our vision is 90% QBR prep time reduction, and having Aria there as a chatbot that you can ask. Aria now is writing scopes of work. Aria is helping build out an entire like policies, AI transformation policies. Like you can leverage Aria for anything. So I think the template, the speed of the assessment, the client portal, our AI component, and the fact that we're MSP and community backed, so we're not backed by um, mega forces. So it also is a big differentiator for us.
No, that's awesome. And I think that, right, but really whether you're service provider or product company, it doesn't really matter, right? QBRs are critical, and I think that standardization piece of it is awesome. No matter what SOW template you have or what QBR template you have, you go from one account manager, a customer success rep to another. Like, we have the same template. Why does this look so different, right? So I think that that's awesome.
Yeah, Alex, it's interesting how you've branded the AI side of your app with a human name.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's been a lot of AI products to market in this space. I've heard some people who are working. In fact, we interviewed somebody who thinks you can think of their tool like Jarvis for the help desk, right? But they didn't call it Jarvis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's pretty interesting the way that you've branded this AI personality. Can you talk more about your biz? Like, just I think it's a good idea, but like, why? Like, what did you think about this, and why did you end up doing it that way instead of being like AI QBRs,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Um, we were trying to figure out a good name for the product. Um, Even before originally, it used to be called Leo, like the original iteration. If you see any of our like first demo videos, this is actually it's interesting how we had a lot of AI thoughts even before any of this like AI stuff started happening in after ChatGPT. So, and it was going to be a little bot, but then Lion Guard came out, and we didn't want to necessarily, also have a Lion bot in play. And we are a big Lion Guard fan too, so we decided that before launching, we need to really come up with a long-term personality. And I'm a big Game of Thrones fans. Aria is a really solid character, and I think that MSPs are the underdogs. And I think so. Aria is on a quest. There's more backstory if you catch me in a bar. I'll tell you guys the story. But so Aria is on a quest, and she is going to achieve her quest. And it's also nice to have like personalize it a little bit. I think that a big piece of the future, as we all know, like it was a big conversation, is agents, and agents in the mix. So, one of my visions is the next year or two, we're going to be having basically about 10,000 different agents operating in the business, custom agents for all different things. And it's nice to humanize them. Ari actually likes that she's more of a hybrid entity,
Yeah.
um, than just a silly like script, right? So that's kind of the future is I think that MSPs and machines or companies and machines will be working in collaboration. Um, I'm not a full subscriber to there's going to be mass job displacement. I mean, yes, there's going to be definitely mass job displacement, but not like people will shift into different roles and work in tandem with the machines. And I think that that will also create a lot of good value as well because both machines and people have a lot of value to bring to an operation.
100% right. I think there's like, as product vendors, and Gene, I don't want to speak for you, but I definitely think the same, right? Introducing AI is to augment people, not to replace them, right?
Yeah. Alex, do you have a link to her Moltbook handle?
No, but at some point she will be more dynamic, and there's a lot of stuff that's happening on that. So
Yeah.
just you follow along, but we know a lot of things that real serious MSPs from the evolved world struggle with that we're solving little by little, one step at a time.
And where can people find out about product and if they want to get in touch with you? Like, what's the best way?
So strategyoverview.com is the best way. On there is we're very transparent with pricing. Our pricing's public. You can get a free account for 3 clients. It's month-to-month pricing as well, so it's very flexible. You can just play around with the app live. You get our golden template out of the box, template that we built to do VCIO QBR assessments. So essentially, you can adopt a mature QBR process in minutes, with no commitments, not even speaking to sales. So I think that's been a major piece to the success as well. Um, and then you could just upgrade right in the app, and you can buy VCIO mastery training, or if you get the 25 managed client plan, you get VCIO mastery training free. So we help guide MSPs in helping like structure their data, get the QBRs automated, how to actually deliver a QBR, like good content around that topic. So we're helping MSPs adopt the process. And then we have a live chat in the app. So you can chat with the whole team right from the app or from our website. So that's the best way to reach out, and just get involved and play around with the app live.
That's Well, Alex, really appreciate you taking the time today. It was awesome learning about strategy overview and excited to see where you guys go from here.
Yeah, Cam, nice to meet you. And Gene, good to see you always.
Yeah, brother. Thanks for being on the show. Congrats on
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it.